This is the new HMI with the back cover removed. That post that this one is mounted to, you got three main cables going through there. One is a 12 volt AC power supply, and one is a communication cable. And then there's another one which is for the machine up-down control. The up-down control comes from this plug over there. So those three wires need to be connected to this plug here. Then the 12 volt AC will go here, and the communication cable will go there. So if we connect that up, it looks like this. That one there, communication cable here. And then you still have a ground which you can connect to the frame. So this is how the setup looks like. We got a communication cable from the HMI. Yeah, that's the gray wire through the post. That one plugs in here, just like the previous one. You just need to check the wire color over there, if it is connected up like this. And then there's two wires connected to the end of the plug here, and they connect to that second board. So we got a board with a M1, which is the machine on the left-hand side, and we got one with an M2, which is the machine on the right-hand side. Yeah, so don't swap those ones over, otherwise your controls here will also change. So that one is connected up for the communication. I got this one here for the 24 volt power supply. So I'm gonna turn it on now, and then we can see what happens. Okay, so this is how it should look like when you turn it on. So for these boards, you got the counting head plugs in that one. Then you got your auxiliary inputs going to that orange terminal block at the back. Your auxiliary outputs on the terminal block at the back. And then you got these two that go to the valve manifold, and you have that on each side, of course. And then here's the pre-way probe, if you want to use that one. Well, let's zoom in a bit on the terminal here. Okay, so this is what that will look like. For starters, we have a reset button. So we have a reset for the left-hand side, reset for the right-hand side, bottle index button. This one does not work at the moment because the conveyor input is off. You can see that with that green indicator, or in this case it's gray. The indicator next to M1 and M2, if this one is gray, then the PLC, it doesn't know that the conveyor runs, so it assumes that the conveyor is not running. Also, I'll need to get the key now. So the rest is all covered up. Unless you flip the switch, the key switch. Okay, so when we enable the key switch, then we have the recipes over here. So you need to load a recipe for M1 and a recipe for M2, yeah, individually. Yeah. Then the machine settings over here. So you got the settings for the left-hand side and the settings for the right-hand side. The same for the pre-weigh. If you use that, you can set the amount of pre-weigh here. If you put the pre-weigh settings on 0, then the hopper will run at this duty cycle. So you can either use the hopper duty cycle or you can use the pre-weigh. If the duty cycle is 50%, it means that 50% of the time the hopper will be on. So it will pulse from between on and off. The other settings are pretty much the same as in your machine. This one is new, sliders release time. It means that when the count is complete and those 12 slides, they catch the products that fall extra from the plate. When the next bottle is indexed, it won't open all of them at the same time, but it spreads that out, in this case, over 198 milliseconds. And then you are less likely, or they are less likely to clog up the nozzle. So that's quite a nice feature. These ones are all the same. Yeah, those are all the same. Then if you go to the Diagnostics, you can see here all the auxiliary inputs. And here are the auxiliary outputs. And you can see here is an input conveyor running for M1. Conveyor running is off. So if that one is off, it means the machine cannot run. You can't start it, you can't do nothing. So this one must be on. So either your conveyor needs to turn this one on, or otherwise we will have to make a wire bridge at the back of the machine on that orange block to make it think that the conveyor is on. But otherwise it's not going to work. And then for M2, we have the same ones. Here you have the machine software for M1, so for the HMI, the remote I/O board. That's that board here on the side. It reads this the position of the key, and it does the up-down control for the machine. Here you have some test facilities. This is new. It's tune vibrator quick start. If you turn that one on, and the test also on, so like this, basically. Then you will hear the vibrators humming a little bit, and the idea is that you set these numbers up to a point where your products are almost going to run on the vibrators. So they're not moving yet, but they're about to move. 20 seems to be quite all right, so I'm not sure if you need to change it. But this puts the vibrators in a quick start mode. So the vibrators can stop quickly, but they can also start very quickly because the products are almost starting to run already. So we also have that for M2. You can also turn off the communication. Suppose that one of these boards doesn't work, then you can switch off the communication and then you can still run the other side without getting any error messages. These are your inputs for the counting head, 1 to 16, but you're only using 1 to 12. The same with the slides, 1 to 12 for M1 and for M2. And then over there, you got your machine up-down control, which is done by 2 relays that are here on that remote I/O board. You can hear them clicking when you press it up and down. No, the rest is all the same. Run empty mode, hopper on and off.